A beggar used to live at a railway station in a city. He used to fill his stomach by begging from the passengers, sitting in the trains that came and went there. One day, while he was begging, he saw a tall man dressed in a suit and boots. He thought that this person looks very rich, and if I beg from him, he will definitely give me good money. He started begging from that tall man. Seeing the beggar, the tall man said, "You always keep asking, do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am a beggar. I always keep asking from people. I don't have the status to give anything to anyone." The tall man said, "If you can't give anything to anyone, then you have no right to ask either. I am a businessman and I believe only in give and take. If you have something to give me, only then can I give you something in return." Saying this, the tall man boarded the train and left. The beggar started thinking about what that tall man had said. His words touched the beggar's heart. He began to think, maybe I don't get much money in alms because I can't give anything in return. But I am a beggar. I am not capable of giving anything. But how long will I keep asking from people without giving anything in return? After thinking for a long time, the beggar decided that whoever gives him alms, he would also give something in return. But now the question running in his mind was, being a beggar himself, what could he possibly give others in return for alms? 2 days passed while thinking about this question, but he couldn't find an answer. On the third day, while he was sitting near the station, his eyes fell on some flowers blooming on the plants around the station. He thought, why don't I give people some flowers in return for alms? He liked his idea and plucked some flowers from there. Then he went into the train to beg. Now whenever someone gave him alms, he would give them a flower in return. People happily accepted those flowers and kept them with them. Now the beggar would pick flowers daily and distribute them to people in exchange for alms. Within a few days, he realized that many more people had started giving him alms. He used to pluck all the flowers near the station. As long as he had flowers, many people gave him alms. But when the flowers ran out, people stopped giving him alms. This continued every day. One day, while he was begging, he saw the same tall man sitting in the train, the one who had inspired him to give flowers in return for alms. He immediately approached the man and said while begging, "Today I have some flowers to give you. Please give me alms and in return I will give you these flowers." The tall man gave him some money in alms and the beggar gave him some flowers in return. The tall man really liked this gesture. He said, "Wow, amazing! Today you too have become a businessman like me." Saying this, the tall man took the flowers and got off at his station. But once again, the words of that tall man touched the beggar's heart. He kept thinking about what the tall man had said and felt very happy. His eyes started to shine. He felt that he had now found the key to success with which he could change his life. He immediately got down from the train and excitedly looked up towards the sky and shouted loudly, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman. I too can become rich." People saw him and thought that maybe the beggar had gone mad. From the next day, that beggar was never seen at the station again. But 6 months later, 2 men dressed in suits were traveling on the same station. They looked at each other and one man shook hands with the other and said, "Did you recognize me?" The other man said, "No, because as far as I know, we are meeting for the first time." The first man said, "No, think again. This is not our first meeting, but our third." The second man said, "I don't remember. When did we meet the first 2 times?" Now the first man smiled and said, "We met twice before in this very train. I am the same beggar to whom you once explained what I should do in life. And in the second meeting, you told me who I really am." The second man smiled and said with surprise, "Oh, now I remember. You are the same beggar to whom I once refused to give alms and the second time I bought some flowers from you. But today you are in a suit. Where are you going and what are you doing these days?" Then the first man said, "Yes, I am the same beggar, but today I am a big flower merchant, and I am going to another city for my flower business." After pausing for a moment, he continued, "In our first meeting, you told me the law of nature that we only receive something when we give something. This principle of give and take really works. I experienced it deeply. But I always considered myself a beggar. I never thought beyond that. And when we met for the second time, you told me that I had become a businessman. That's when I realized that I was actually not a beggar, I had become a businessman. I understood that people were not just giving me alms, they were actually paying for those flowers. Everyone was buying my flowers because where else would they get flowers so cheap? In people's eyes, I was a small businessman, but in my own eyes, I was still a beggar. After you told me, I realized that I was indeed a businessman. With the money I collected from selling flowers on the train, I became a flower seller. People here love flowers very much, and their love for flowers made me a big flower merchant." Now both the businessmen were happy, and when the station arrived, they got down together and continued talking about their respective businesses as they moved forward. Friends, we can learn a lot from this story. The tall businessman understood the law of give and take very well. All the great businessmen in the world have succeeded by applying this principle of life. He shared this formula with the beggar. The beggar adopted this law of nature, and its impact was clearly visible in his life. He changed his mindset, and his life changed. This story teaches us that if we change our thinking, we can achieve anything. If we keep thinking of ourselves as small, we will always remain small. To become great, we must change our thinking and think big about ourselves. The essence of the story is this: success lies hidden in your thinking. Awaken your self-respect. Think big about yourself and see how you reach the peak of success.